And what I'm telling you is,
Right.
y'all living in a hotel, you working 10 hours a day, you already recognize that she has an alcohol problem, but y'all decide to have a baby. Don't make a bit of sense. Is this Ms. Costa?
It is, Your Honor.
Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on 2024 CR 10593, Amber Nicole Costa, battery, family violence, count 1, battery, count 2, simple battery, family violence, count 3, and simple battery, count 4. You're represented by the law firm of Lister Houghton Dennis. Mr. Taylor, what does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Your Honor, after discussing her situation, we wish to enter a guilty plea. However, we would like to be heard on sentencing because this is a complicated domestic violence situation.
All right. By entering a plea of guilty to count 1, counts 2, 3, and 4 will merge. You give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. You understand all of these things, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis recommendation.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about December the 7th of 2024, Officer R. Adams, ADAMES, was dispatched to C Road, room 342, Clayton County, Georgia, in reference to a disturbance. During his investigation, it was determined that the defendant did commit the act of battery, family violence, and that the defendant intentionally punched the victim, Mr. Lonnie King, with her right hand on the right side of his mouth, causing visible bodily harm. That was observed by the officer. Officer Adams observed the victim's upper and lower lips were bruised. And he also observed that the victim was bleeding from his upper lip. The defendant and the victim do share a child together. Your Honor, those are the pertinent facts of the case. The state's offer for count 1 is 12 months probation, a fine of $500. The defendant is to complete 40 hours of community service, to complete the family violence intervention program, and to have no contact with the victim. And also, Your Honor, the victim is on the call and he would like to give a victim impact statement.
All right. Mr. King, unmute, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, tell me what's going on.
Let me start here. The problem is she's alcoholic. That's the problem.
Mr. King, can you get to a place, Mr. King, can you get to a place where your Wi-Fi is a little bit better?
Oh, is my Wi-Fi? Okay. Hang on for a second. Can you hear me? Can you see me now?
I see you just fine. It's just that I hear it. I don't hear you well. Either maybe
Okay.
getting.
I know what it is. I got it. Let me put that off. Okay, can you hear me now?
That's perfect. All right. Tell me what's going on.
Okay, yes. Oh, okay, the problem is she needs some help. You know, she's an alcoholic, you know, and the thing is, we just had a newborn daughter, just came from the NICU. And my daughter has 3 holes behind her heart, you know what I mean, from alcohol fetal poisoning, you know, due to why she was pregnant. It's been several cases I tried to address Miss Costa on the alcohol when she was pregnant with my daughter, Embriella, and, you know, we'll get into it. I mean, it'll be strenuous, you know, and I didn't want to, like, cause a miscarriage and then, so I really just address it like that, you know, and I have to work all the time, too. You know, actually, I have to work 10 hours a day, actually. Some days, sometimes 7 days a week. So she has been drinking when I heard the DQ, and I wanted to cut the music down because the music was loud, you know. And she refused to, and that went back and forth. And then next thing you know, she grabbed my daughter, picked her up, and came and hit me in the mouth. Okay, so then she tried to proceed to come at me again, which this doesn't happen before on several occasions. Just I didn't have a child with her, you know, and she kept trying to come, so I tried to get her back. So I guess she didn't like the fact that I told her to cut the music down. So she said she's gonna call the police on me and say I've been jumping on her, you know. So when the police get there, you know, they see my mouth busted up, my mouth red, and by that time she put my daughter back in the bassinet. But she went open the door for them because she's trying to hide alcohol. You know, she's trying to hide the alcohol. And I had just actually just got off work at that time. I hadn't been home at least about like an hour and a half or 2 hours. So I was very tired. She wouldn't let them in. You know, I tried to open the door and let the police in, you know, because I didn't have nothing to hide because I knew what happened. And she knocked me out the way, slammed the door back. So they was about to go get the door open and find the shit up and open it. You know, so then she tell them that I did something to her walking out the door, you know. And I really need her to get some help. I don't want to raise my daughter like that around. I talked to her before she had Briella.
So, Mr. King, how long has Miss Costa had this drinking problem? Mr. King?
Okay, hold that. Yes, hold that.
How long has Miss Costa had a drinking problem?
Man, since I met her,
okay, so she's had a drinking problem since you met her, but you thought it was a good idea to have a baby.
I didn't think you know what, to be honest with you, she was on birth control, and I didn't think I could have any kids.
Oh my God, Mr. King, I can't not. Have we not, like, really?
I did.
Do you have a working penis, sir?
Yeah, it works.
Have you been to a doctor who's told you you couldn't have babies?
No, I haven't went to, you're right, man.
Okay, then, so stop saying that foolishness.
Yeah.
I didn't really think I could have none. That's just foolishness, Mr. King. Stop. I need people to start thinking about, Mr. King, listen to me. I don't care who you're talking to. I need people to start thinking about who they are procreating with. That means having babies with before they have them. You knew she had a problem with before when you first met her, but you stuck it out. Oh, I still want to be with you. But then you brought a baby into this situation. So I bring you, Mr. King, because you're the one who's not on alcohol.
No. So this is the second time I have been with her. I really thought that she had a job and she had a place to stay the second time I met her. And I'm thinking that maybe she got everything under control. But as I got deeper into the relationship, it was out of control. And I mean, now she got pregnant and I had a daughter by her.
Okay, so Mr. King, what you want me to do? You say she needs help. Okay, y'all have a child to raise together. This is going to be a complicated situation from now forward. But Mr. King, don't tell nobody that foolishness about you ain't think you could have no babies. And so we going around having babies without precautions because, well, I didn't think I could have none. And the second one, where she told me she was on birth control. Just foolishness. Y'all, neither one of y'all are prepared to be parents and y'all bringing babies into the situation. It's not funny, Mr. King. You got an infant now.
I'm prepared. I am prepared. Because I know with the risk are. I'm prepared for it. Financially and mentally.
Mr. King, you already telling me you working every day, 10 hours a day. So you're not going to be any help with the baby. But you thought it was a good idea to have one.
Yeah, I do have child care while I work. And then I come home and I take care of the child. I have child care.
Okay, well, that's good. Then hopefully Ms. Costas will be able to take advantage of the child care too. All right, sir, I have heard Ms. Costas has a problem. Let's talk about how we deal with that. All right, so the recommendation in this case is a $500 fine. Does Ms. Costas currently have a job?
No,
because the address that I've got, is that a apartment complex? What address is that?
Okay, it was a hotel, but I had to move because I had to get child care. So I recently moved right after that. When she got incarcerated. I recently moved because I had to have childcare. I couldn't go to work and watch the child at the same time. So,
Now, Mr. King,
man,
who's watching the child? Your who?
hold on.
My
I
mother's
can't hear you.
watching the child.
Okay,
Okay, me now. My mother's
so
watching the child.
you moved back in with your mom.
Yeah.
Okay, where were you living before you moved in with your mom?
Oh, it was the hotel. I
I
was weekly.
see,
I was staying there
because I
weekly.
recognize the address. And what I'm telling you is,
Right,
y'all
right.
living in a hotel, you working 10 hours a day, you already recognize that she has an alcohol problem, but y'all decide to have a baby. Don't make a bit of sense. And now your baby is dependent upon your mama wanting to keep her while you work 10 hours a day. Mr. King, be quiet for me. What's going on with Ms. Costa?
All right.
Your Honor,
Mr. Taylor?
yes, Your Honor, thank you. Well, as the prosecutor indicated in the factual basis or the partial factual basis, there was a domestic issue that resulted in an argument between Mr. King and Ms. Costa. Ms. Costa sustained injuries in this altercation, but hopefully in the attempt to have the police not take both Mr. King and or Ms. Costa into custody, she told the police that nothing had happened to her. When the police went and spoke with Mr. King, he told the police that Ms. Costa had struck him.
Well, he said that the police came and there was blood all over his mouth, so he wasn't gonna really be able to hide that.
The police also observed that Ms. Costa had injuries to her face, but she told the police that she had knocked herself against. What she told the police was she might have cut her face on the furniture, and she was banging her hand on the brick pillar beside the outside railing.
Okay, what is it you want me to do, Mr. Taylor?
Well, first of all, there's a 1-month baby involved.
I'm clear.
There's a custody issue going on between Mr. King and Ms. Costa. Mr. King has not legitimized the baby. He doesn't have any parental rights at this time. However, he's using this situation to gain leverage over Ms. Costa. I believe that's why he's here today, although I can't accurately speak to that. Ms. Costa does have a job. She is currently on maternity leave. So hopefully,
What's her job?
her job is working at Heyday Facial Salon. I believe I have that correct. That's in Atlanta.
Yes, in Midtown.
In Midtown. She's a laundry attendant at that. And my understanding is because she's been on maternity leave, her incarceration hasn't currently affected her job. She will be able to go back to it. She hasn't been able to bond out, so that limits our.
How long has she been in jail?
37 days, Your Honor, and her family lives in Kentucky, so she hasn't been able to arrange a bond here. And certainly Mr. King, while I'm sure he's very concerned about the welfare of his baby, the baby's mother, he hasn't attempted to do anything to help her get out of jail to provide care for a very young infant.
I get that, Mr. Taylor, but it used to be the policy of the jail that the person who was the victim of the crime couldn't post bond. So I'm not sure what he was supposed to do. And these people don't have finances like that. Y'all think that bond is like, oh, well, just reach in your pocket and pull out $1,000. Mr. King looked like he got bond money.
Well, Your Honor,
He already just said he's working 10 hours a day. Ms. Costa is not working. They were living in a hotel. Sometimes I need for y'all to understand the financial circumstances that people are in. You talk about a custody case. Mr. King ain't on no custody. He is survived. This is survived. I got somebody to take care of this child while I'm working 10 hours a day.
Your Honor, Mr. King contacted Ms. Costa and said, you can't come get the baby because you have an order against you having contact with me. To me,
Mr. King, be careful how much law you know, because you're not legally the father of that baby. So let's be clear. There's a lot going on here. That's not my business. So what is my business is she's been charged with battery. She's entering a plea of guilty to battery. Does she have a first offender she wants to use or no?
Your Honor, I don't believe Ms. Costa qualifies for the first offender.
Okay, so on the guilty plea, count 1, 12 months to serve, 12 months credit for time served, balance will be probated, fine of $500 will be suspended, 40 hours of community service, and a family violence intervention program class. And she's to have no contact with Lonnie King. Any contact regarding the child has to go through the courts. As the legal parent, she should be able to address that either through the police or through the courts. Otherwise, she's not to have contact with Mr. King.
Your Honor, we would ask if you could waive probation fees for at least the first couple of months until she gets back on.
All right, I'll wait for 3 months. All right, you can go back with the sheriff's office.